Walter, Rotary Peace Center in the Middle East to do a similar thing, to bring Middle Easterners together to come up with Middle East solutions to Middle Eastern problems. How about that on the world stage? And so in January, after a search process that took the better part of 2 years, in January, the trustees agreed that the new Peace Center will be in Istanbul, Turkey, at a university called Bahçeşehir University. And it will open in winter, spring of 2025, that is to say 2 years from now. So that is the exciting news. And then the third Peace Center will be in Latin America. All of these, again, will be graduate certificate programs. All of them will take existing practitioners and give them the training they need, and the regional, they come with the regional experience. But to meet other peace centers peace practitioners from the region, and to work together to solve common problems. And I will just end by saying that I know of no other organization that has the worldwide reach, the deep pockets, and the acumen and know-how to even dream of a program such as the Peace Centers, let alone to make it happen. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to you, Eileen.
Actually, I'm going to thank you, Marty. Thank you for that great update and that inspirational message about our peace centers. It is now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Trustee Dean Rohrs. As a past Rotary International Vice President and Rotary International Director, Dean has been instrumental as a trailblazer in her nursing profession, as well as with her many leadership roles in Rotary International, including president of the Rotary Foundation Canada. As an advocate for strong, committed leadership, both male and female, Dean has mentored and supported many past district governors on this call tonight, including myself. Dean grew up in Zambia, joined Rotary in South Africa in 1989, and soon after immigrated to Canada with her husband, Rhino, and 3 children. She and Rhino are members of the Rotary Club of Langley Central in District 5050. Together, they own and manage a soil stabilization company. In addition to being Paul Harris Fellows, they support the Rotary Foundation as major donors, benefactors, and Bequest Society members. They enjoy time with their family, including grandchildren Ethan, 10, and Aaron, 6. If and when she has spare time, Dean enjoys travel, cooking, and reading mystery novels. With such an amazing career, I asked Dean for one highlight. Well, she said everything has been a highlight. She did mention that one year was particularly memorable, and that was the Rotary that she got to know during her International Vice President's year. On a personal note, I believe that one of Dean's legacies will be her skill in engaging audiences by telling vivid stories. Once you've heard one of Dean's stories, once heard, never forgotten. Through illustrating her many experiences on the road and in the fields, Dean joins us and connects us as Rotarians on this magic journey. Over to you, Dean. Looking forward to hearing your speech.
My goodness, Ingrid, thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I've lost my parents many years ago, but my father, who would not accept women Rotarians, damn, I wish he could have listened to what you have just said. I think he might just have changed his mind a little bit about the effort within the family and without the family and women in Rotary. What an amazing day today to recognize women in Rotary. Thank you for all being here. And I've been asked to give you a little bit of background and information on the Disaster Response Fund. This was a bit of a puzzlement for Rotary. Rotary has never been a first responder. Our historical significance has always been that we go in after the first responders have left and we rebuild. And I always think of Sri Lanka after that terrible, terrible tsunami that absolutely destroyed Sri Lanka. A year after the tsunami, there was really only one NGO still working, and that was Rotary. And what Rotary did, they rebuilt the medical and educational systems in Sri Lanka. So the world changed. The needs for Rotary changed. And suddenly we found that we were dealing with these horrific disasters. We are so invested in disasters these days because we know immediately, we're part of it. We see the visuals on our television screen. It's so part of our lives. And knowing Rotarians want to be there. They want to help. They want to bring action and help the people who need the help. So there was a groundswell and a demand for Rotary to come up with a solution. People wanted to donate money. They wanted to give. They wanted to have a central core of administering of funds for disaster relief. So the General Disaster Relief Fund was established a couple of years ago. It was new, it was innovative. People could donate to this, and this was a pool of money that could be drawn upon for any disaster that affected a community. The quid pro quo at that stage was that this was for natural disasters, not for other disasters, but things that came our way through nature. And we did a lot of work with the different hurricanes, with the different earthquakes and things that even happened in the past. And then Ukraine happened. We had this horrendous issue of millions and millions of refugees fleeing for their lives, and a very, very strong Rotary committed within the country. People turned to us and said, we want to give, but we want to give specifically to Ukraine and not just to a general disaster fund. We are already working with Ukraine, but we would like Rotary to work and administer this through Rotary means. So the trustees then decided to establish a fund directly for Ukraine. But it takes time to establish a specific fund. So what the trustees did was to take the General Response Fund and allocate that all funds donated over a specific period of time would be allocated directly for use in Ukraine by the districts that are dealing with Ukraine disasters. We raised $15.5 million. And by the end of the year, we had literally spent $15.5 million through the grants that were established, the grants that then saw to the needs of the rebuilding and the support of Ukraine. We've had major disasters since then. Pakistan then happened. But in January, when we had the board meeting with the Board of Trustees, we discovered that there were more than $700,000 of grant requests for Ukraine in the pipeline. And we realized that Ukraine needs more support and help. So a specific fund was established for Ukraine. At the same time, we realized that Pakistan needed the help. So a specific fund was established for Pakistan. Horrendous situations in both of those countries. They need more than we could ever give. The districts that are involved around these countries are able to apply for these grants, usually a $25,000 grant. They allowed one grant at a time. Some of the districts bordering on the disaster areas, like in Pakistan itself, they can do 2 grants at a time. The borders to Ukraine, the districts and Ukraine can do 2 grants at a time. But as soon as they've completed a grant, they can apply for another one. So it's an ongoing situation. As long as the money is there, they will be able to apply for these grants. And then we had the terrible disaster in Turkey and in Syria, the terrible, terrible earthquake. It has caused destruction beyond description. Villages have been completely wiped out. We know that there are more than 60,000 people killed. Turkey has 3 districts. And we had instant requests. Help. We need help. We need funds. We need allocation from the disaster response funds directly for Turkey. People wish to contribute for Turkey. So in January, the Board of Directors of Trustees then established the Disaster Response Fund specific for Turkey. All funds collected through, not in January, but in the last month, are just immediately after the earthquake. So many of these funds and all the months and when they start and when they end. But the Board of Trustees decided at an emergency meeting a couple of days after the earthquake to establish a fund directly for Turkey and Syria, and that the districts bordering on the 3 districts in Turkey and the districts that border Syria, which are Lebanon and Jordan, could have their own specific disaster response fund. This fund has been set up and contributions are coming in. And the last time that I heard, I think there were funds already made available and spent of more than $400,000. So grants are being recorded and being vetted and being passed within 24 hours. So the money is reaching the people as quickly as we can get it to them. But funds are not limitless. Need is limitless. So at this stage, we are asking all of you, please, to remember what these disaster response grants actually do. They look after the immediate need of those that don't have housing, they have no food, they have no sanitation, they have no clean water, they have no medical supplies, they're living under terrible, terrible circumstances, whether these are man-made or nature-made. There's the second phase, which is then having to help people to re-establish the day-to-day activities, to get the sanitation going again, to get water to the people, to make sure that food is available, to put in place the medical systems that they need, the educational systems. And then finally, once the start of the recovery comes after the disaster, we need to be there for the long-term rebuilding of those countries to get them back operational and functional again. So this is what our disaster response grants are for. The 3 funds that are established specifically for various specific disasters, and then the general response fund, which is still there. There's bad cyclones and hurricanes in Madagascar, and I understand that there's a massive need, Madagascar and Mozambique, for help there. So those districts can apply for the general disaster fund. So there we are. We have moved into disaster response in partnership with our partners, Shelterbox, and the other NGOs, which are so good at responding. But Rotary really has stepped up, and we have made a significant difference. I thank you all who got involved. I thank you all that gave. And I thank you all for what you still will be doing in the future. Back to you, Ingrid.
Wow. Thank you, Dean. You know, it just makes you so proud to be a Rotarian when you listen to this. If you think about the joy of the Peace Center and the future, and then we listen to Dean giving us an update about these disaster response grants, not just thinking about it, but actually doing it almost immediately. So thank you, Dean, for sharing that information and giving us that call to action. It is now my privilege to introduce another trailblazer with us tonight, Brenda Cressy. And interestingly, both Dean and Brenda joined Rotary in the same year, 1989. Brenda is currently a member of the Rotary Club of Oakwood, Maine, District 7780, having returned to Maine after living in California for 25 years. Since her district governor term in 2001, Brenda has served in several leadership roles within Rotary International and particularly the Rotary Foundation. While completing her trustee term beginning in 2017, Brenda was honored to be selected as vice chair and then chair of the Rotary Foundation in 2018-2019. Certainly a career highlight. In addition to her role as CEO of a telecommunications company, most of Brenda's assignments have dealt with fund development for the Rotary Foundation, specifically in the areas of peace, polio eradication, and the environment. Brenda and her husband, Dick, are members of the prestigious Arch Clump, Legacy, and Bequest Societies, as well as major donors and Paul Harris Society members. She has received several awards: the Rotary International Service Above Self Award, the Distinguished Service Award, and the International Service Award for a Polio-Free World. Now, on the rare occasion when Brenda does have spare time, she enjoys creating beautiful quilts for charity and friends, taking walks along the stunning beaches in Maine, listening to new country music, and enjoying time with her 4 young adult grandchildren. A fun fact: she's been married for 54 years to her high school sweetheart, her one and only forever boyfriend. Congratulations. Brenda is a dreamer and a doer. And now Brenda and her husband, Dick, are making dreams come true for others through their Brenda and Richard Cressy Endowment for Peace Fellowships. Welcome, Brenda.
Oh, thank you, Ingrid. And good evening, everyone. It's just lovely to be here with all of you tonight. And I'm so excited to share this information about the refresh of the Polio Plus societies. I would like to echo Ingrid's comments after Dean spoke tonight, and that is, I have never been so proud to be a Rotarian as I am tonight, to hear the updates on the peace centers and to hear Dean talk about the work that we're doing for disaster response and how we just dipped our toe, it seems, with COVID. And it seems like such a long time ago now that we have all these other horrific disasters, but dipped our toe into trying to figure out how to utilize and encourage others to support our disaster response. Thank you both, Marty and Dean. Definitely people that I admire and respect. So thank you for that. And again, thank you for this opportunity. Mine is going to be sort of crazy. I'm going to share. Can you see my screen? Let me just do this. It's an interesting process to work with Rotarians around the world to develop an initiative such as the Polio Plus Society. And so I wanted to just go through a few slides, and then at the end, I'm going to share this report that I've been working with the IT people at Rotary with enhancements, if you will, for a resource for our districts. So in October of 2022, the trustees endorsed the global effort to encourage all districts to consider adding or refreshing their Polio Plus Society. And on this slide, you'll see a recommended approach and responsibilities to help build the Polio Plus Society. I'll just read this first paragraph to frame the short presentation for you this evening. The Polio Plus Society is a district-led fund development and recognition initiative for Rotarians, Rotaractors, and friends of the Rotary Foundation. Members commit to giving an amount determined by each district to Polio Plus each year until the certification of a polio-free world. So many districts have already embraced this global effort and are excited about new tools and resources that are available to help them achieve a successful outcome. So let's keep in mind that the Polio Plus Society is just one fundraising initiative. However, it's an especially important initiative as it is a recurring gift commitment. So here we have the background of why this all happened. When the trustees endorsed this back in October 22, it was a recommendation from the Fund Development Committee to roll out the global initiative. And Dean, by the way, was the chair is the chair of the Fund Development Committee of the trustees. We brought it to the trustees because we felt that we needed to encourage all districts to consider adding or refreshing their Polio Plus Society. As a longtime and staunch supporter of the eradication of polio, I was delighted when invited by Chair Ian Risley and past RI President John Durham to lead the initiative. My team consists of EPNCs, the End Polio Now coordinators, our regional leaders, our RFCs, and many staff members at Rotary. And I'm so excited to say that we now have an official brand, one that you'll see on the bottom of this slide, and I'll show you again on another slide. But we also have a new email address for all communications, and you will see it there. It's simply Rotary Polio Plus Society at gmail.com. I'm working with Rotary IT staff to enhance the current contribution detail report. Have you ever heard of that? Some of you probably have, but I was surprised to find this report and talked with IT many times and said, you know, this has so much potential. We need to create some enhancements that will really help our districts, because this is district-led and they need all the tools that they can get, because we're not going to be tracking this at Rotary, such as we do for the for Paul Harris Society, excuse me. And finally, we've developed a toolbox. A toolbox for the Polio Plus Society will be available July of 2023, this July, and it will be found on the endpolio.org, it's not now, website under resources. So why is it important that this is district-led? Because the Polio Plus Society encourages all Rotarians and Rotaract members, as well as others, to join Rotary's culminating effort to eradicate polio. When the Polio Plus Society districts have the flexibility to design their own society locally and regionally, they can use local currencies, local vendors, recognition, and criteria. We know this approach will prove to be highly successful. We've had feedback from many districts and from many of our End Polio Now coordinators. So, for example, in some countries, the value of our US currency is prohibitive, even at $100 per year, such as we ask here in the US. Then again, we have some districts who may establish giving levels above $100 per year in areas where giving is already strong and can grow even stronger. So such flexibility encourages regions to maximize the donor interest, resources, and engagement to their area or their district. The Rotary Foundation is here. They will assist our district leaders to expand their engagement by providing new and helpful resources. So here you are, our new Polio Plus official logo right there. It will be found soon on the brand center, and it will certainly be shown in our toolbox on endpolio.org. I'm really excited about this. I felt that we needed to have a brand so that we could at least share our communications under one logo. So this is how you might use the graphic. I'm using my own club, the Rotary Club of Ogunquit, and my own district, 7780. Really, really exciting. So now the contribution detail report, for those of you who have never seen it, heard about it, I'm so excited about where this is going. The enhancements are continuing to be made as I work with the key members of Rotary to make this contribution detail report available through my Rotary. Previously, this report was only available by request to the Rotary Contact Center by the RRFCs, the Assistant Regional Foundation Coordinators, our End Polio Now coordinators, our DGs, and our District Foundation Coordinators. But as a past trustee and former chair of the Rotary Foundation Fund Development Committee, I felt that certain enhancements such as filtering and having quicker access to this report would become a highly useful tool in all areas of fund development. And that's why I'm so excited about this. And when I spoke with my IT guy in Rotary, we were on the same page. So I knew that we were going to make some headway on this. So I'm very, very pleased to announce that the enhanced contribution detail report, or what we call lovingly the CDR report, will be available this month as access points are being updated in the system for the leaders that I mentioned above. So use of this report will be discussed also at the upcoming global trainings and at the end of March for the RRFCs and the EPNCs. Sorry about the acronyms. And detailed instructions on how to use the report will be shared with all leaders that I mentioned. So now for the exciting part, I'm now going to switch over to the Excel spreadsheet in order to show its real value. Knowing that we have some time constraints on this call, I invite you to reach out to me. Please use the Rotary Polio Plus Society @gmail.com email. So here we go. I'm going to stop the share. Maybe. Here we go. And then go to the Excel spreadsheet. Here we are. So this spreadsheet, this is the first page. And what I love about this is that you have an opportunity to utilize this report for so many different things, not just Polio Plus. You will see this is just a report from my own district, and it shows all the funds that have been given to each of these funds. And then we have the annual fund, and then we have Polio Plus. This first gift was made from a donor advised fund to polio. So it's looked at as restricted to polio. Someone made a $25 gift to Miles to End Polio. And then this is how much money our district has already raised for Polio Plus. And then you will see, thanks to the Otto and Fran Walter Foundation, we have this wonderful gift here for peace, etc. So that's the first tab, fund summary. The donor summary, I've sort of removed the Rotary ID numbers and tried to squish the names of the Rotarians here. But the donor summary is in here by Rotary Club. So you can scroll through each club. You can find who has given to the annual fund, Polio Plus, etc. And so this can be used as a tool for so many different things. It can be used as a tool for Polio Plus Society, the Paul Harris Society, etc., etc. But then you go to the donor detail report, and I know this is really small, but what I want to show you that wasn't here before is that you can actually use filters. The filters will allow you to look at and sort. Let's see if I can move this over here. By funds. See, I can select all and it will show all the funds. I can select polio, deselect these, and it will just show me polio. And what's wonderful about this is that you can take these reports now and export them into your own report, and you can track. You can send thank you letters. You can use it as a cultivation and a stewardship tool. So there you are. You can sort it through all these different labels, and it's really going to be helpful. So as I said before, I'm going to stop my share here. But it's really exciting to see that Rotary and the foundation has been so responsive to this effort because, you know, polio eradication is our #1 priority. We need to raise more funds. We need to engage people into being part of this. And I think Polio Plus Society is one way to do that. There are other ways. But I think we're seeing that many districts are really happy with this and very excited to have the additional tools that we're going to make available to them. So thank you, Ingrid and Eileen. Thank you so much for having me. And wonderful to be on the platform with Dean and Marty this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Brenda. Wonderful presentation. And I will say and tell you right now, you're going to make a lot of people very, very happy. The number of questions I've gotten is how can we track who is given their, you know, whatever their Polio Plus Society amount is, their $100 or whatever. So you're making a lot of people happy. And it's really great to see a refresh because it's going to be so motivating for clubs and districts now to fundraise for polio. So thank you very much for your efforts. They're highly appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now it's my pleasure to introduce someone I finally saw in person a few weeks ago. Celeste Herbert came to Connecticut, and my husband Bob and I had the opportunity to actually see her in the flesh and have dinner with her. We had a wonderful evening. Celeste is Zone 32's newest professional staff member and is a valued member of the Zone 32 Foundation team. She attends our monthly meetings faithfully. She put together a very effective fundraising presentation for our Zone 32's district leaders in November. Quarterly, we try to get everyone together, and November was a good time to really stress fundraising. She is a fundraising executive who believes deeply in the essential role nonprofits play in strengthening communities. She spent nearly 20 years connecting her personal passions for education, the arts, and science, and by raising philanthropic support for organizations in New Orleans, Washington, D.C., and Chattanooga before joining the Rotary Foundation staff in 2017. In her work as a major gifts officer, Celeste works one-on-one with individuals who seek to radiate Rotary's humanitarian mission to the far reaches of the world as part of their philanthropic goals. Please welcome Celeste Herbert.
Hello, thank you. Thank you all. I just want to take a moment and just say how honored I am to be part of this panel with some esteemed Rotarians, but even more importantly, to be with our esteemed group of PDGs. I had a moment just as everyone else was speaking and being introduced of being reminded that it's the women that you see here who have been pioneers to allow women like me progress in Rotary. And so I'm grateful to all of you and to all the men on the call as well for the women who have helped you along the way, and even especially maybe for your mothers who made you the servant-oriented individuals that you are, probably in some small way. I am going to share my screen. Eileen and I did have a lovely dinner recently. I have been pleased to be able to be in the flesh with people in some ways that we haven't been used to in recent years. And that has allowed me to not be in practice with Zoom. So please forgive me if I stumble through a bit of this. But I am so excited to be with you. I wanted to also thank Drew for giving time and space for us to discuss the foundation, because it's definitely a topic that is very important. And for district governors and past district governors, we're especially excited to speak with you about the role that you can specifically help play in building a better future for the Rotary Foundation. As Eileen said, for those of you that I have not yet met, I am the new kid on the block, as they say, and I join a whole team of professional staff members across North America who are here to make sure that you have a staff member available to serve your district and the districts around you. So some of you have worked with my teammates here. Others know that we support a volunteer team led by our endowment and major gift advisors, Marilyn Bedell and Carol Tischelman. And we do work one-on-one with individuals as well as districts to support major gifts to the foundation. So you may be thinking, why on earth are all of these people focused specifically on major gifts? And in short, the answer is that if we weren't, Rotarians would not be able to have the impact that they do. Major gifts have major impact, and they affect every part of Rotary's work every day in the world, from the projects that are supporting people who have needs today, to endowment funds that will allow Rotarians to take on the challenges of the future. And some of those are challenges that we cannot yet dream. 100 years ago, we could not have predicted we'd be eradicating polio, responding to global pandemics, but we've been able to do that because for years, Rotarians and their families have supported the Endowed Fund in a way that has made sure resources are available so that whenever Rotary is called to act, we can be there and we will. Our Rotary Foundation trustees have made sure that we will continue doing that by setting an ambitious goal of raising $2.025 billion by the year 2025. We call it the 2025 by 2025 campaign. And that figure is more than just a catchy campaign slogan. It's a dollar amount that is not only ambitious, but will also be so impactful to ensure that Rotary has the dollars needed to meet the demands of the future. When we achieve that goal, and we know that we will have spendable earnings coming from Rotary's endowment to the tune of what we raise each year currently to meet the Bill and Melinda Gates match needs. And when you think about what that means for the pressure to be taken off of it, for the annual fund dollars we raise year after year, for economic downturns to not have a direct impact on Rotary's work, and for Rotarians to be able to keep their promises to the communities in the places where we tell them Rotary can and will be there. These are some wonderful goals, and we know that Rotary can meet them. We don't have to think too hard about what those needs may be in the future and why they may happen. How do we know that we can achieve such an ambitious goal? Because the Rotary Foundation is among the most respected charities in the world. We know that Rotarians are here to support the 100-year history of our humanitarian work. We know that our trustees have managed our dollars wisely and conservatively to ensure that Rotarians can put them to use. And as some Rotarians I've worked with like to say, we know at the other end of each dollar is a Rotarian making sure that there's a difference being made in a local community. Those things and our transparency in terms of our reporting on our finances and whatnot have helped us continue to be consecutively a 4-star rating on Charity Navigator for years and years. So, as our past district governors, you may be thinking, what role might I have in all of this? I've done my time, I've paid my dues, but we still have a role for you to play. We love thinking of our past district governors both as advocates and as activators. So one of the ways that you can be an advocate for the foundation, for major gifts, and especially for our endowment goals, is to be a thought partner with your staff. We're here to share your knowledge with others, to understand what's happening in your communities and in your districts, and to feel your passion and share that with others as well. Likewise, we hope that you will share what we pass along to you, whether that's impact reports for the difference being made through your gifts, whether it's stewardship communications, or whether it's things like the upcoming notification you will get of a reminder of some tax-wise ways you might be able to support the foundation as tax day comes specifically in the US. So we hope that you'll consider your role as an advocate to be one that shares with your network the communications and the information that we provide to your districts. We also hope that you remember that sharing your story is one of the very best things you can do. Your personal story is a testament to your generosity, to your philanthropic vision, and to the values that you and your family hold dear. These values are almost always shared by the Rotarians serving alongside you. And there are people that you are working with every week who have not yet figured out how the foundation can be a tool to help them live out those values. So we hope that you'll continue sharing your story and helping them understand what kind of impact they can have through their foundation giving. Your potential to inspire others simply by sharing your story can truly be amazing. Another way to be an advocate is to help your zone and district leaders who are working every day to build a culture of philanthropy. Consider working even with your communications teams to figure out if your story can be shared in new places to inspire others. I say it again, you have a great story to tell, and as a PDG, you are a great messenger for many people. But we also know that you have more to share than just your story. And with the demands of being a district governor behind every single one of you, you can ask your district leaders where you may be able to plug in to best help. You know personally how important it was to have Rotarians there to support you when you were in your leadership year, and this may be an opportunity to pay back as well. We right now globally have a major push to ensure that we have representatives on our endowment and major gift committees within each district. In our zones particularly, we have about 50% of those positions filled in districts, and worldwide that figure is closer to 70%. So we have some work to do, and that may be a great way to step up and say, I think that I may be able to help. Finally, in terms of being an activator, we really appreciate when our past district governors connect us to people. We ask you to carefully pay attention to those people around you and notice what stage of life they're in. Identify people who may be looking at long-term planning. And I can tell you, as someone who helps every day people craft a vision of what they hope to ultimately do to make a difference in the future, this is truly one of the most humbling and personally fulfilling roles you may ever play in your life. Who wouldn't want to be a part of helping someone realize that they can give more than they ever dreamed that they could? We do that every day with conversations we have with Rotarians. Who wouldn't want to help someone realize that they can stabilize their income for life by considering a charitable gift annuity? These help remove fears from people when they may be thinking of their long-term care. And we find ways to help them achieve those goals, as well as supporting the foundation programs they care about. Now, I always like to add one little note when I see a photo like this, because in one of the first $1 million campaigns I helped with, the very first person who stepped up to join the campaign was an octogenarian who made a stock gift in order to join the Arch Clump Society. The second gift was a 29-year-old club president who looked at what was going on around her and said, I can be part of this campaign. And so she named Rotary as a beneficiary of her retirement fund, which she knew she wouldn't touch for many years. The reason she did it is equally important. She had a newborn daughter, and she wanted to create a family fund so that her daughter would always know that Rotary values were a priority for their family for all of time. And so I share that because we often think that it's only the people in the forefront of this picture who are in planning stages of their life. But if you listen carefully and pay attention around you, you might find that you're surprised. The last little bullet on here, I always recommend that people listen when they hear someone say, I wish. Because when someone says they wishes they could do something more, chances are there's a way for us to find that opportunity for them through Rotary. And so when you hear those terms, please think about letting your foundation staff know, and we can help someone figure out what that means. Now, finally, I would be remiss if I didn't also note that one of the ways you can be an activator is to make sure that you have made your own gift, whether that might be with current dollars that you are able to spend now, or through an estate gift that you're looking at beyond your lifetime. My colleagues and I are here to help you uncover the options and direct those dollars to the Rotary programs in order to help you fill your philanthropic dreams. By establishing a personal named endowed fund, you'll not only provide support for Rotary's local and global humanitarian efforts, but you'll make sure that support grows forever. If you haven't seen this chart, I'll just quickly explain it, but it identifies that a gift of $25,000 grows in principal over time with the market. That's the top line. The value of the fund continues to increase. And one of the most exciting things is that the spendable earnings come back to the programs you care about year after year. So in this example, the initial spendable earnings are about $1,000 a year, and that amount continues to grow for the rest of time. That's one way we like to think of creating a named endowed fund as a way for people to be Paul Harris Society members forever. That continues operating over time with the investments of Rotary's endowment and is managed in a very responsible way. So this is one of the most exciting little graphics that I created for you guys. And it helps you see that you'll be in very great company if you choose to make plans to establish your own named fund. You'll see here that Rotarians in our two zones alone have created more than 250 personal named funds, and those were valued at nearly $54 million at the last count. Today, those funds are supporting projects that your clubs and districts are making possible. And again, that support will continue to grow year after year. You'll soon be receiving in your inbox from either me or my colleague who serves your area a new resource that will explore the various ways someone may consider supporting Rotary's endowment. And then your district foundation team next month will be getting some information about ways to access an online toolkit to also help people do more. I hope that when you receive this, the question you will ask yourself is, will I be an advocate or an activator? And how will I share this knowledge and pass it along? And with that, I'll close by saying, most of all, I hope tonight you know how much my colleagues and I truly value the relationships that we have with each of the past district governors that we get to work with. We love the opportunities when you introduce us to people and help us transform people's dreams for the future into a meaningful Rotary legacy. I thank you so much. I'm truly honored to be a part of this session tonight. And I look forward to seeing many of you along the Rotary Road here soon. It's been a true pleasure to be with you, and I wish you all a wonderful night. Thank you, Eileen.
Thank you so much, Celeste. I appreciate everybody tonight. What a wonderful presentation and panel. Ingrid and Eileen, amazing job putting this together. Spot on with all of the new things that are happening to keep past district governors in the loop of what's happening. And that's how these sessions started, just to make sure that everybody stays current, stays excited, knows what's going on, and can be the support that all of our district governors, governor-elects, nominees all need in our district world. So if you have anything you want to share in the chat, please do so. Again, cannot thank you enough, Eileen and Ingrid, Marty, Dean, Brenda, Celeste. The knowledge today was just wonderful. I know everybody knows how to reach out to you and get in touch with you. I do want to just close out tonight by telling everybody our next session will be on membership. Please save the date for Tuesday, May 2nd. Put it in your calendar. Have already started speaking with Herb and Doug, and it's going to be a lot of fun and some tools and stuff to take away with. So we hope that this gets you inspired to do things more on your district, support all of your governors, and again, stay well, stay happy, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.